Living with chronic illness can be exhausting. There are endless symptoms to deal with, and perhaps your life may be filled with far too many medical appointments. But that does not mean your life has to be chaotic, stressful, and even depressing. There are things which can be done to help with chronic illness. One of the most important things to do when living with chronic illness is to learn about your medical condition. For example, are there any treatment options? These can include medications, physical therapy, lifestyle changes, supplements, and diet. Gaining knowledge about your medical condition can help give you a sense of control and will help you understand the progression of your health issue. Where to find information about your condition. Most medical conditions have websites dedicated to them. They are created by either a national or international organization or by a dedicated group of people. The best way to find these websites is by doing an internet search for them. Depending on the website, there will be varying levels of information available. There may be information on how to find clinical trials, how to get free genetic testing, information about upcoming events, and ways to connect with others. Another great place to find information is through social media. I will caution you, there may be hundreds or even thousands of Facebook groups for a certain medical condition. Be very selective on which group you join. Please stay away from the whine and complain pages. These pages do nothing more than tear down other people, medical facilities, or just generally have a negative vibe to them. How do you recognize one of these pages? Read a few of the posts and determine if the information is dedicated to helping people find solution and information to their problems, or if its sole mission is to allow people to speak evil about others. This is how a helpful Facebook page might read. My son has such and such a condition. He started having seizures, and his doctors are unsure if it is related to his medical issue. Are seizures common with this condition? This is how an unhelpful Facebook page might read. I was at work yesterday. My stupid boss got mad at me because I was sitting down with my feet up on the table. My boss told me to get my feet off the table. I was like, hello, don't you know I have POTS? I have to keep my feet elevated. My boss is such an idiot. Have a support system. An extremely important aspect to staying positive is to surround yourself with family, friends, and healthcare professionals who can provide assistance. Some people may find it challenging to find these positive people to be part of their lives, but it is possible. You sometimes just have to keep your eyes open and keep your ears open to find people who are encouraging and understanding. These people do not necessarily have to be related to you. They can be neighbors, they can be coworkers, they can be people you see at religious services, they can be that person you just happen to see at the grocery store. The people just have to be positive and encouraging to you. Finding a healthcare provider who works with you is absolutely essential. You need somebody who is a friend and who is with you on the same side of this battle. You do not need to have somebody who is an enemy and who is constantly fighting you. Now, I will draw a line here. There are medical providers that simply will not order every single test you want. That's okay. They are not being an adversary to you. They are simply using their logic and their reasoning why you may or may not need a test ordered. However, if they're not willing to refer you, or they're simply blowing off your symptoms and telling you you're not sick or that symptom's not important, or they're just not supporting you, they're not giving you refills to your medication, or they're not prescribing you medicine for your medical condition, that's when you need to find a new medical provider. The medical provider should work with you and want you to achieve your best health. They should not put stumbling blocks in front of you. They should not be mean and nasty to you. They should want you to achieve your best level of health. So together with family, friends, and a healthcare provider or multiple healthcare providers that are working with you, a support system can really change the course of your medical condition. It can change things from being very stormy and very gloomy to giving you hope and to giving you a positive feeling that everything is going to be okay. Don't isolate, have social interaction. One of the most common pitfalls for people with chronic illness is isolating themselves from the rest of the world. Now, this may be intentional. People might be very upset and very depressed about the medical condition they have or the symptoms they are experiencing, but a lot of times this is unintentional. They have a lot of symptoms and they feel a lot of angst and anxiety, and they will simply shut down the world from around them. When you isolate yourself from the world, you're just going to be at one with your own thoughts. And many times your own thoughts might be very negative. You're just going to ruminate on the same things over and over again. This negativity can permeate into your symptoms and they can manifest themselves as worse health, as having severe depression, and it can just really make your health decline and decline quickly. For this reason, I really encourage people to have social interaction. I know people say, oh, I'm on social media. That is not actual social interaction. Social interaction is actually meeting with somebody, talking to somebody on the phone, or even if you have to do a Zoom call, actually seeing somebody, seeing their face, listening to their voice, and actually having a conversation with somebody will do wonders to help the person. When you have social interaction with people, you get out of your mindset. You get out of these negative thoughts that might be swirling around your head, and you start looking at somebody else, looking at their face, understanding what they're going through. And it can really help you as you're on your journey with chronic illness. It can help you realize things you have either may need medical attention or things that you have might just be because you're depressed and you're so down and gloomy that once you start talking to somebody, your spirits start lifting. You might have less pain. You might have less severe symptoms simply because you're having social interaction with somebody. So please, if you have chronic illness, make it a point to have social interaction with somebody. I really encourage people, if you can, leave your home at least once a week if possible. It doesn't need to be anything big and fancy. You can simply maybe go on a patio, go on a front porch. You can sit outside, maybe talk to a neighbor, maybe talk to a family member, maybe just make a phone call and talk to somebody on the phone. But please get out of your surroundings at least once a week. This will do wonders for your health. And once you return to your living quarters, you will see things in a different light. Having that time outside the area where you live will help you gain new insights, understandings, and it will also just give you different things to think about. Medicine is always changing. One thing to remember about medicine is it is constantly changing. Treatments or protocols they might have done just 5 years ago for your medical condition may have changed, and now there might be a new treatment protocol, or now there might be a new physical therapy, or now there just might be new hope that there is a drug on the horizon that might help your medical condition. So do not get depressed with the current state of medicine that there's nobody researching your condition, or there's no drug for it, or there's no hope, or there's no cure for your condition. Don't get into that bad mindset. Remember, prior to 2020, there was not a lot of research done for the medical condition postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. However, after 2020, there has been a lot of research for the medical condition called POTS. With all this research, people are now being diagnosed with the medical condition. There are a lot of research studies and programs going on to find cures, to find remedies, to find treatments that actually help people who have this condition. So even though the medical condition hasn't changed, the research and the knowledge and the awareness of having this medical condition has greatly increased. So you never know what's happening. I'll give you another example. PICC lines used to be extremely painful. They were held in place by stitches. Now, these stitches were very, very itchy, and they were the worst part of having the PICC line. These stitches irritated your skin, and they just made it very red and inflamed. I had a PICC line back in 2010, and after having the PICC line, I wanted it out as soon as possible. In 2018, when I needed another PICC line because I had an infection which required IV antibiotics, I did not want another PICC line. I highly protested, no, 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 not a PICC line, not a PICC line, not a PICC line. Well, they put the PICC line in, and to my shock and surprise, they no longer use stitches. Now they use this adhesive. The PICC line then hooks onto the adhesive, and it does not require any stitches. This has made getting a PICC line so much easier. And as a matter of fact, I've had PICC lines since 2021. So for the last 4 years, I've had PICC lines, and I really do not mind that I have a PICC line. That one improvement, going from using stitches to using adhesive, has made a tremendous improvement in many people's lives, including my own. I no longer despise getting the PICC line, and having a PICC line is no longer a big deal. Also, never forget, people are doing research constantly. Although they might not be researching your specific medical condition, they are doing research on other areas of the body. As they develop more knowledge, they might actually find out something as they're doing this research that they go, oh, this might help somebody with ALS, or this might help somebody with multiple sclerosis. They might stumble upon a potential cure, therapy, medicine that might help your medical condition that when they were originally doing the research had absolutely no intention of ever providing any benefit for your medical condition. So please never give up hope. Medicine is constantly evolving, constantly expanding, and you never know. Tomorrow there might be a treatment, tomorrow there might be new therapy, and tomorrow there might be a cure for your medical condition. Distance yourself from the news. When I first became sick, it was very easy for me just to spend the entire day watching television. Watching television often meant I often watched the news. Now, this did not have to be actually a news program or a news channel, but it's simply just watching like maybe the 11 o'clock news or the news at noon. Simply just watching a half an hour of news every day made me so incredibly depressed. You find out about someone was mugged, someone was murdered, there was a horrible car accident. News is all about sensationalism, and news is also about making you be fearful. With that said, I was constantly on edge and had a lot of anxiety. Oh my goodness, what's happening over there in this country, or what's happening over there in this part of the nation? And it got me really, really upset. Thankfully, I read a book and it said one of the best things you can do for your health is to switch off the news. And in 2012, I actually switched off the news. I do not watch the news, very, very rarely. The only time I actually watch the news is if I'm told there's going to be a bad weather system. I only watch the weather part of the news and I switch everything else off. Why do I do that? Because I don't need to know. I don't really care. I mean, I do care what's going on in the other parts of the world, but I don't really care because that's just going to get me very, very upset. I don't need to be upset about what's happening over in this country or what's happening in that country. Whatever happening, I will pray that it's going well for them and I will move on, but I don't actually need to see the images. I don't actually need to see the stories. And furthermore, I don't need that weight and anxiety upon me. I have a lot to think about, and you probably do too if you have chronic illness, and you don't need all that extra stress in your life. You don't need all those burdens weighing you down, and you're just thinking about that over and over and over again, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe there was flooding over here. I can't believe this happened or that happened. You don't need that in your life. So for that reason, please distance yourself as much as possible from the news. Now you might think, well, if something major happened, how will I know about it? Let me just tell you, if something major has happened, you will usually find out. I find out about things. How do I find out? People will post on social media like, oh, here were the results of this election. Or, this is coming up and make sure you're ready for this event or whatever is happening. Social media has a good way of letting you know about major, catastrophic, important events that are coming up your way or that have happened. So I'm going to tell you, don't go on a lot of social media. but the limited amount of social media you do go on usually is enough to help get you the major pieces of information. And if you really, really need to find out news because you are desperate and you want to find out news, please only turn on the news once a week to get a recap and then move on with your life. Gratitude journal. One of the most helpful things I have ever done to help me stay positive is by creating a gratitude journal. In this journal, every night I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. Now, these 5 things cannot be repeated each day. So, for example, if I say, today I am grateful the sun is shining, I'm grateful for my ventilator, I'm grateful I have water for my ventilator, I am grateful I have a roof over my head, and I am grateful I have a computer so I can shoot YouTube videos. Those are 5 things. So you write those down, and now tomorrow I can't say that I'm grateful for my ventilator because I already said that. So now I have to find something else I'm grateful for. Now you keep doing this over and over and over again, and you cannot be grateful for the same thing ever. You just have to keep finding new things you are grateful for. Now, after 30 days, and I would hope sooner, but perhaps after 30 days, I hope you will find yourself being grateful for more things, because often when you have chronic illness, it can be easy to get into a negative mindset. You're just like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't eat this, I can't go here, I can't. It can be very, very negative, and that negativity can make inroads into your brain, and you get on these circuits of negativity, negativity, negativity. Now, when you sit down and find things that you're grateful for, you are creating new circuits and you're creating new roads in your brain for gratitude. And when you can create gratitude, your mood will generally improve. Also, I found when I've done this gratitude journal, I find things that I often forget about. I don't know about you, but when I get to the end of the day, I might not always think about, perhaps you went to an appointment and there was a really sweet woman that sat next to you at the appointment, and she was very kind and very helpful. Now, you might be very, very grateful for her for a conversation, but you might not always remember that. So sitting down every night and thinking about what happened during the day and what can you be grateful for, you will probably remember that interaction, write it down. Another thing is, after perhaps a week, perhaps after a month, go back through and read through your gratitude journal. This can be tremendously helpful because sometimes people tell me, oh, I have such a bad life, nothing good happens. Read through your journal. You might forget in 30 days about this really kind, sweet woman that sat next to you at your appointment, and you might think, oh yeah, she was really nice. Oh, I hope I get to see her again. Your mind changes. So when you write this gratitude journal, make sure there are 5 things every day. Think back about your day and find 5 things that you're grateful for. Do not repeat what you're grateful for. And then after a week, after a month, go back through, review everything that you have been grateful for, and just see, has your mindset changed? Has your attitude changed? Have you found things that you're grateful for that you never realized you're grateful for? For example, if your plumbing in your bathroom no longer worked, your toilet started erupting, so exciting, and you had sewage all over. Are you now grateful for a toilet and a toilet that flushes? Maybe you are not, but I am, because after going to the bathroom in a bucket, and I couldn't dispose of that bucket down the sewer, had to take that bucket outside and find an empty field and throw the contents into the empty field. I was just fertilizing that field. Oh, I cannot tell you, ladies and gentlemen, cannot tell you how grateful I am for indoor plumbing. Indoor plumbing. So now whenever I go to the bathroom and I'm like, I'm not feeling so great that day, I'm just like, I can go to the bathroom though. Let me go sit on my toilet. And flush the toilet. It is a great day. So doing a gratitude journal can help you realize how many things you are thankful for and realize how much you have. And it can really help change your mindset, change your attitude, and just help you realize how abundantly blessed you are. Thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe down below. Please also remember to comment and share. It really helps my YouTube channel. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. Bye-bye. Hello. I apologize. My lips are all weird in this video. Now, if you didn't notice, you're like, hey, you looked great live at the event. I'm like, thank you. But my lips are all weird. I don't know if you can see it. It kind of makes my smile look weird. Anyways, my lips are all chapped and broken out. And I don't know why. I've been putting chapstick on, but not working that well. I've been trying to figure out why I'm breaking out. I did have an orange yesterday, and I think that might have been the culprit. I usually don't break out from oranges, but I had this orange, and then my lips were like all nasty, and I was like, oh, I gotta shoot YouTube tomorrow. How dare you, lips? Clearly, they didn't heal. Anyways, if you know how to heal lips fast and quickly, let me know in the comments because I'm always looking for ways to heal my lips. This, I use cocoa butter, smeared that on. Usually helps. This time it didn't. I also used castor oil last night because they were really bad. Still broken out. I don't know. Not sure why they're all broken out. A big mystery. Maybe someday we'll find out or not. Why am I doing this? My back hurts. Yeah. So if you know how to fix a backache too, that'd be helpful. I'm thinking about doing acupuncture. Do you have any experience with doing acupuncture? Let me know in the comments. Just let me know everything in the comments, how to heal my lips and how to help backache. You say, how long has it been hurting you? Since December. And you're like, that's a long time. It is. It's a long time and it still hurts. And you say, have you gone to the doctor for that? I have gone to the doctor, but not for that. And you say, why not? And I say, I don't know. I don't want to get any testing done, because yeah, that's usually painful. They'll make you probably go for an MRI and then they make you sit on that bed that doesn't have any cushioning. That's painful. Really painful. I'm usually in pain. I usually cry through MRIs because I'm in so much pain because that I don't know, that bed, it has no mattress on it. So you're just like, and they're like, is everything okay? And you're like, no, just hurry up. They're like, we can stop it. Oh, just keep going. I'll be fine. One time they gave me medicine and I actually fell asleep through the MRI. Oh, that was the best MRI ever. So maybe they can give me some magic medicine and I can take a nice snooze. That would be good. Anyways, sorry, I'm just jabbering. Bye. Now you might be wondering, if something major happens in my area, if I'm not watching the news, how will I find out about this? Well, there are many sources. For example, other people in your community are probably watching the news. They will most likely let you know about this. They might call you on the phone and be like, hey, live event. Do you know this is going to be happening? Or do you know that's going to be happening? Or people post on social media, hey, here were the election results. Just in case you're wondering. Also, I'm going to tell you, I don't spend a lot of time on social media because I don't have time. But Facebook is really funny because sometimes Facebook thinks I need to learn things and it will probably do the same with you. So a couple nights ago, we were supposed to get a really bad storm. I did not know this. Why? Because I don't watch the news. And Facebook is like, hey, live with event. There is a bad storm coming your way. And here's some information about that. And I was like, hey, Facebook, thanks for letting me know. So I did go outside and make sure everything was tied down and make sure everything was anchored, that we had some flowers. I didn't want them just to blow away in the wind. The funny thing was the storm missed where I lived. And I was like, thank you, Facebook, but you lied to me. How dare you? I'm never going to forgive you ever again. See you tomorrow. Anyways, so that is how I get my news source, is by using Facebook, social media. People tell me, friends, family, relatives, somehow things will come up in conversation and I will find out the news that way. There have been times where I have not found out about things. For example, I had no idea North Carolina had flooding. And then this came up several months later. People were talking about North Carolina and the flooding. And I was like, oh, they had a flood. And they're like, that was a long time ago. Where have you been? And I'm like, I've been right here, but I haven't watched the news. Oh, I'm really sorry. I'll be praying for those people in North Carolina. And I still pray for them because it's still such a mess there. And I'm so sorry, people in North Carolina. So sorry. I hope things turn around for you soon. So that's how I get my news, is not by watching the news, just through word of mouth. And if it's important, I will generally find out about it.